Paul George have any say in Doc Rivers' exit from the team? It turns out the two were reportedly asked for input on the move, but neither presented a strong enough case for Doc to stay on. And Clippers owner Steve Ballmer made the final decision after that to let Doc go. Antoine Walkers back with us now. Antoine, you surprised Kawhi and PG didn't push Ballmer harder to keep Doc Rivers for next season?
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised because I played a half a season with Doc. I didn't have the full season that those guys had with Doc. But knowing from Paul being one of my good friends, how he treats superstars, and obviously witnessed it myself, he's a great coach for superstars. He treats.
Yeah, but Twan, how do we know what was said in those meetings? Like, we don't know. And think about this. If you're Paul George and you're meeting with Ballmer, you know, you're probably walking there on eggshells. You're not confident because you're probably thinking I'm part of the problem and they're going to shit me out possibly. And that's some of the rumblings that we're hearing. So I just don't know if that is even a story. But when you look at what was reported and what was said between Ballmer and Coach Rivers, they weren't on the same page. Coach Rivers laying out a plan saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to work on, you know, so have some coaching changes, some schematic changes. We need a point guard. Next year will give us more chemistry. And then you have Ballmer, who understands leadership at the highest level, as just like Coach Doc Rivers. And he's like, well, where's the leadership? Why was there lacking leadership on this team? Where is the chemistry? And why didn't my guys want to play? So I think because of that, two guys on separate pages, that's why they had to move on. I don't think it's a player's issue because when you look at it, they don't have the leadership. Kawhi's not a leader. Paul George has his own issues. Lou Williams, who's considered a leader, is at a strip club before the bubble starts or during the start of the bubble. And then you have Montrez.
How dare you?
You have Montrez. Who's the sixth man, and that's not a pushover accolade. That's a big deal to win the sixth man, and he comes in out of shape. Like, that just shows the lack of leadership and professionalism from this team.
So listen, I don't blame Ballmer for moving on from Doc. I think I think it is, Ryan Hollins brought up an interesting point yesterday that I think warrants some inspection, which was the timing about Ballmer was waiting to see what the Nuggets looked like against the Lakers. That if the Nuggets somehow ran roughshod over the Lakers, and it's like, oh, okay, like it's just the bubble, it's weird, we ran into this crazy hot team, Jokic and Murray are the next great, Shaq and Kobe, and you just... But then they saw the Nuggets losing 5 to Lakers. It's like, oh no, this loss was as bad as we thought it was. And that's why Doc ends up leaving. But the meltdown against the Nuggets is not primarily on Doc. That team was healthy. That team was up 3-1. That team had big second half leads. And their stars could not bring it home for them. And now their coach ends up being fired because of it. So, Antoine, I kick this to you. No matter who the next coach is, that guy right there, Kawhi Leonard, doesn't he have to go into next year adjusting some things? Doesn't he have to go into next year for the first time in his career attempting to be a vocal leader? Doesn't he have to go into next year willing to play a regular amount of basketball games, not 82, but closer to 70 than to 60? Like, because they're not going to be able to change the roster dramatically. In large part, this is going to be the team they have next year. So no matter who the coach is, Antoine, doesn't it start with whether or not Kawhi is going to make the requisite adjustments to redeem what happened in the final 3 games against Denver?
Well, I do agree he has to play better, obviously, in closeout situations. He's done that a lot in his career where he's played well. But I think his leadership skills do have to get better off the court. And I always talk about this, and I've said this numerous times in the show, LeBron James, that's where he separates himself at. He gets guys to buy in. Whatever unique tricks he uses, whatever he does, whether it's going to dinners, whether it's inviting guys to his house, Kawhi Leonard has to step outside his shell if he wants to be a champion for the Clippers. If he wants to take this team to the next level. Well, I don't know if he is going to do it. He left Toronto, a situation where he could have stayed in the role that he was in and been a great player, and they could have been out the Eastern Conference for the next 2-3 years. That's how good they were with Kawhi and the way the Eastern Conference set up. But now you out west where competition is a lot stiffer. It's going to be much harder to get there. You have some voice to fill on your roster. Now you have a coaching vacancy. He has to step up. And if he wants to be a champion and if he wants to win, we'll see what type of player Kawhi is. But you got to understand, everybody's built differently. Kawhi may not have 3-4 championships in him. We may believe that as a skill set, we may say, oh, he can win 3 or 4 championships. LeBron is different. LeBron is chasing the greatest. LeBron wants to be in the conversation with the Michael Jordans, the Magic Johnsons, the Bill Russells. We don't know Kawhi. He's very quiet. He's very sheltered. He doesn't talk a lot. We don't know where he wants to be at as a pro and where he wants to finish his career. He may be content where he's at right now. I know he left a lot of money on the table. I know he left a place that loved him dearly, and they would do anything for him. Now you with the Clippers, all that stuff is out the window. You got to perform now. Now you just got a very good coach fired. Now a new coach has to come in. It's a lot of responsibility on his head. Now that the cover's off Kawhi right now, he has to step up now as a leader on and off the court to get this organization to the next level. And we'll see if he wants that. But he may not want it. That question still remains, and we'll see that over the next couple months.
But Antoine, I think you made an interesting point about LeBron and LeBron's vocal leadership. LeBron has been like that since he was 16 years old, and he has shown it in every aspect of his life. In the time, Nick, that he said, I'm going to be someone else, I'm going to wear the black hat for the Miami Heat, what happened?
Failed.
It's like, I'm not myself.
That was the one time he failed.
I feel it doesn't work. So asking Kawhi to be this vocal leader when we haven't seen it, and he's like, you know what, guys? Well, by the way,
then
go to my trophy case. I have 2 Finals MVPs playing the way I do. It just didn't work this time. I don't need to become a new person.
No, hold on. But let's split it then. If he's not going to become the vocal leader and inviting everyone to dinners, at the very least, be a leader not just with your performance in the games, but your attendance to practices. With the way that you set the template for how seriously guys are going to take the season. Don't show up late to the bubble, which then maybe makes Lou Williams say, Magic City does look pretty good, and those wings are delicious. There is an element of that. And so I think even if you can't ask Kawhi Jenna to be given speeches, you can ask him to set an example, not just by being a great mid-range player and great defender.
But, Antoine, you're right. He's never done it before. To all of a sudden have him just turn it on, it's really hard for someone to do that. We shall see. All right, I got a question for you. Is this the year we're going to see a team go 16-0 in the NFL? And if so, how are the Chiefs going to do it? Yeah, they did there, Nick. Next. First things first.